From lawsuits over music rights to lawsuits over slander or likeness, all the way to some extremely serious lawsuits and allegations. Here are the top 10 celebrities sued by other celebrities. Starting off in our number 10 spot, we have Nicki Minaj and Tracy Chapman. Last year, on January 7th, 2021, a long battle between Nicki Minaj and Tracy Chapman finally came to a close. The pair's legal battle started in 2018 over Nicki's unauthorized sampling of Tracy's song, Baby Can I Hold You. Nicki had publicly claimed all the way back in 2018 that she had no idea that she had sampled Tracy's song and begged the singer to give her rights to it so that she could move forward with her anticipated album release without delays, but Tracy refused. Years later, the suit would finally come to a settlement, with Minaj paying $450,000 in order to settle it. After the settlement, Chapman could be quoted as saying, quote, "I'm glad to have this matter resolved and grateful for this legal outcome, which affirms that artists' rights are protected by law and should be respected by other artists. I was asked in this situation numerous times for permission to use my song. In each instance, politely and in a timely manner, I unequivocally said no. Apparently, Miss Minaj chose not to hear and used my composition despite my clear and express intentions." Despite the fact that Nicki took the song off of her album before its release, a leaked version still managed to make its way around the internet, but with the settlement, any further circulation of the song is banned. In our number 9 spot today, we have Taylor Swift and David Mueller. Not so much of a celebrity, but rather a public figure, David Mueller is a former radio DJ who was exposed and lost his job after inappropriately touching Taylor Swift at a meet and greet in 2013. He claimed that the contact wasn't intentional, but Swift said in a testimony, quote, "It was a definite grab, a very long grab." David then tried to sue Swift due to his job loss, which led Taylor to countersue for just $1. She said this was because she wanted the trial to be an example for other women. During the trial, David's lawyer asked Taylor how she felt about him losing his job over the encounter, to which she responded, quote, "I'm not going to allow you or your client to make me feel in any way that this is my fault. Here we are, years later, and I'm being blamed for the unfortunate events of his life that are the product of his decisions, not mine." In the end, Taylor went on to win the suit back in 2017. In our number 8 spot today, we have Cardi B and Tasha K. Earlier this year, a federal jury awarded rapper Cardi B about $4 million in a lawsuit she brought against a celebrity gossip blogger who had posted videos referencing Cardi B in 2018. The series of videos claimed that Cardi B was a sex worker, that she had contracted sexually transmitted infections, and that she used illicit substances. Cardi B sued the blogger in 2019 for posting over 20 videos that spread, quote, "malicious rumors," according to the lawsuit. In the end, the jury found the blogger, who goes by Tasha K, liable on 2 counts of slander and 1 count of libel and 1 count of invasion of privacy. Kind of ironic considering the title of Cardi's debut album. In our number 7 spot today, we have Britney and Jamie Lynn Spears. One of the biggest celebrity court cases in the last few years was Britney Spears and her fight to get out from her conservatorship. Now that that has happened, that doesn't mean the court dates are yet over. This lawsuit hasn't quite been enacted yet, but it's definitely and very publicly been threatened. In the last few years, Britney has been vocal of her feelings regarding sister Jamie Lynn and how she believes she is just trying to profit off of her fortune. Now that Britney is free to be in charge of her own life, she has begun to threaten to sue Jamie Lynn if she continues to speak about her publicly. This isn't necessarily a surprise considering the two have had a rocky relationship for many years, but things have certainly escalated in the last few. Like I mentioned, this isn't yet an official lawsuit, but it's one that Britney herself has said might be on the way. In our number 6 spot today, we have Nicolas Cage and Kathleen Turner. In 2008, actress Kathleen Turner released a memoir titled Send Yourself Roses. In this book, she made quite a bizarre statement when she claimed that Nicolas Cage, who she had worked with back in 1986, she claimed that he had been arrested for driving under the influence and that he had also stolen a dog. It's such a random mix of things and such a weird thing to make up, so of course many people went on to take this story as the truth. This led to Nicolas filing a libel case in the UK against not only Kathleen, but also her publisher and a newspaper that had run an excerpt of the memoir. In the end, the defendants admitted to their wrongdoing and they apologized for their actions. They also paid the legal fees for Nicolas Cage and then went on to make a donation to charity. In our number 5 spot today, we have Polo v Polo. Not necessarily 2 celebrities, but instead a versus match of the head of a large fashion company against a magazine dedicated to a sport. This is one of the more bizarre lawsuits on today's list. Polo is the name of a sport and the name of a magazine that is dedicated to it. Polo Ralph Lauren, on the other hand, is the high-end but casual clothing line that is designed to sort of allude to this sport. For 22 years, the sport, the magazine, and Polo Ralph Lauren could all exist in perfect harmony, but that changed in 1997. Polo magazine had a bit of a switch up in their business model and went for more of a focus on the elite lifestyle of polo players rather than the actual sport itself. This led to Ralph Lauren being worried that this was going to sort of hijack the image he was trying to create for his polo brand, so he sued. Ralph Lauren sued the Texas-based publisher, claiming that the magazine had no right to use the word polo, and in 1999 a Dallas court ruled in favor of the designer, and the magazine ceased publication. This was, however, reversed in 2001 upon an appeal. Polo magazine was allowed to continue on, but they just added a small disclaimer that they are in fact not affiliated with Polo Ralph Lauren. And our number 4 spot today we have Mariah Carey and Mary Carey. Mary Carey was an adult film star who, in 2006, Mariah Carey felt had a bit too similar of a name to her own. Mariah sued Mary because she felt as though her stage name was just a bit too similar to the singer's, and she said that she felt as though this similarity would ruin her image. Surprisingly, a judge agreed with Mariah. In a 2007 filing, a judge ruled that Mary Carey was no longer legally allowed to go by that name, and she would have to find another. What do you guys think? Do you agree with this filing and decision, or do you think that this one went a bit too far? In our number 3 spot today we have Sofia Vergara and Loeb. Sofia Vergara was struck with quite a case in 2015 when her ex, Loeb, sued her for custody of 2 female embryos that the couple had frozen in 2013. On Sofia's side, she argued that both parties agreed that the embryos would not be implanted without consent on both sides, but Nick was claiming that he had always intended to see the embryos to full term and that he would waive any of her parental obligations. In the end, this case was dismissed, but Nick didn't give up there. Instead, he decided to refile again in 2017, but this time in Louisiana. This is thought to be because there are more strict laws in that state in reference to embryos, but that has never been confirmed. A judge again dismissed the case, this time on the grounds that since the embryos were created in California, Louisiana courts had absolutely no sway. In our number 2 spot today we have Kesha and Dr. Luke. This is one long timeline of many lawsuits between these two. It's a long, sad story, but the most notable of all of the suits took place in October of 2014 when Kesha claimed that the music producer had horribly her twice while also using his position to, quote, intimidate and torment her. Since that suit, there have been many more attempts by Kesha to get out of her contract with both the producer as well as Sony Music. She even claimed that Sony was aware of the things she was enduring, but chose not to act on it. She is releasing new music under her contract, but that doesn't mean the court filings are over yet. They are currently still ongoing. In our number 1 spot today we have FKA Twigs and Shia LaBeouf. In December of 2020, the New York Times revealed that musician FKA Twigs had filed a lawsuit against their ex, actor Shia LaBeouf. The lawsuit listed several horrible things that they alleged that they endured over the course of the relationship, as well as the fears they presented them with and the lasting distress that it all caused. They described the emotional, psychological, and physical pain that they went through, and them coming forward also led to Carolyn Foe, who had also previously dated the actor, speaking about her similar experiences as well. Both Twigs and Carolyn have described having small disagreements that turned into all-night fights, depriving them of sleep, the rules they felt as though they were made to adhere by, and just their general feelings of uncomfortability while in these relationships. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thank you so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!